Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. That's Nettie Liddell.
And that is Brett Chapin.
We're talking to Executive Director of the theater at Boston Court, Michael Seel. And for information on Boston Court, you can go to bostoncourt.com. We're also talking to actress and producer Deborah Puette of caughttheplay.com at the Zephyr Theater. If you have any questions for either of them, go ahead and give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. And guys, I want to talk a little bit about the state of theater in LA right now. It's an interesting time. There seems to be a little bit of a divide between some of the smaller theaters, and when I say small, I mean less than 1,000 seats, and the mainstream press, because a lot of the smaller theaters feel like they're not quite getting the exposure that they deserve. But what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
It's an interesting and sensitive subject. I understand.
No, it is, and I get that. I get that newspapers are struggling. I get that there's a bottom line, but what I don't quite understand, can't wrap my head around, is this lack of attention to new works, new artists, or just people who aren't in the public awareness. This lack of wanting to bring them to people's awareness, because if newspapers, if media is meant to serve the community, and they're not sharing with the community the amazing things that are happening in our theater scene, in the small theaters, then they're underserving their community. And you know, I if anybody's like read my blog or followed me on Twitter or anything, they're going to hear this.
Where can we read your blog?
Oh, it's at deborahpuette.blogspot.com. And this will be repeat information, but I come from, and I'm not holding Chicago up as the model for us, but it's an example. In Chicago, there are arts writers who, when they find something that they think deserves the attention of everybody, they shout it from the rooftops. And that is the way that our new playwrights get the attention that they need, that our tremendously talented directors who aren't yet working at Center Theater Group, for instance, get the attention that they need. And this is not about cheerleading. Like, we don't need cheerleaders, but what we do need are advocates when we deserve it. And we deserve it so often. You know, Tom Jacobson, who's a playwright that's produced at the Boston Court, that there has not yet been an enormous feature on this man in the LA Times is beyond me. I don't understand that, because his work deserves it, and everyone should know about him so they have the opportunity to see his work. So that's where I feel like the divide is happening. And it's, you know, our less, I don't know how you divide up the press between more mainstream, less mainstream. Like, what is the LA Weekly? What is the LA Times? But the Weekly, for instance, Stephen Lee Morris does a tremendous job of exactly what I'm saying. But is he reaching the community at large with the Weekly? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, because, you know, Stephen Lee Morris is no longer the full-time theater critic. I mean, he is doing what he's doing really out of the goodness of his heart, because, you know, corporate that is no longer even in Los Angeles for the LA Weekly eliminated that position a couple of years ago. So it's tough, and I think that we all need to keep trying to hold them accountable and get them to at least feature those new artists, those people who are actually making a difference in LA theater. I don't think that they're ever going to be, because of financial restrictions and like that they're ever going to need to review every play that gets put out.
I don't even think that's what it's about.
But they do need to support the theater and the theater community, and not just at the times when the TV or film star is starring in a production on a stage, and generally those tend to happen on the larger stages.
Yes,
so,
please,
but that's when they do, you know, present. But they like you said, I actually think they do need to cheerlead. They need to find those artists that are making a difference, and really support those and make people aware. You're right. But I also think as a community, we need to find other outlets to do that ourselves. Yeah. And you know, new media is a way. It keeps growing and growing. There are certain people who are out there doing the cheerleading, and I think that they're eventually going to help us make a difference in that. So
I think that there is a way to walk that fine line between honest criticism right? And cheerleading / advocacy.
Yes,
You know, we don't-
and there is a line.
We don't want to be handing a trophy to every kid because they participated. We
Right.
do want the cream to rise to the top, but when it has risen, somebody needs to point at it and go, that's the cream. Excuse me, I do it every time I'm on the radio. That's the cream. Like, look at this. You know, pay attention. Did I just break a lot of rules?
It's okay, go on.
Keep going.
No,
It's a very sensitive topic because it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love, you know, and so
People
everybody's
are-
passionate who's involved. Everybody's passionate about it.
Well, and there are, and like I said, there are new media that are doing that. What we're doing right now, for instance, is a great step in making that happen, making people aware. So, you know, bloggers, even on Twitter in 140 characters, there's ways to get stuff out there.
that's right. You guys are important.
Yeah.
Wow, we're making a difference, Nettie.
Yeah.
New media.
Imagine
well,
that.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get many more people involved, just like these wonderful people here coming. to
You
the
must
show.
be talking about Deborah Puette, who you can find information about at deborahpuette.blogspot.com, and Michael Seel, who you can find information about at bostoncourt.com. Find out about the theater at Boston Court. And we'll be back to talk to them a little bit more on La La Land with Brett and Nett on CRN
Digital Talk.